Hello everyone, my name is Thiago and today we have a different format here. We have 4 fucking experts on agility and we're gonna talk about flow. But first we're gonna introduce ourselves really fast, okay? So I'm Thiago, but you already know me.
I'm Romeu. Hi.
So I'm Lula, a fucking Agile expert at Knowledge 21. So here I am.
I'm João Reis. I'm an Agile coach. I'm not a very expert as Lula, but yeah.
So I'm Guilherme. I work in ADO with Thiago. And I'm pleased to be with you today to discuss about flow and agility also. And I'm also not an expert like Lula and
oh my god.
We're here to
You already know
discuss.
Then we have
You know who it is.
the expert.
I'm not an expert. I'm a fucking Agile expert.
Sorry.
I guess people try to improve their flow just to say that they have a good flow, you know? So, okay, things are flowing on the way, but they are just making shit flow faster. So I guess the point here is how my flow can help me to improve my product.
Okay, but what the fuck is flow?
What the fuck is flow?
I mean, right?
Okay, flow is like a river, right? Like a river flows.
Never drink the water if you don't know what's on the upstream.
Oh
because it might
my
be
God.
horse pee.
Oh.
Horse might be peeing on that.
Horse pee.
You know, because as the water is flowing and it's like this, you don't know who is
And the horse being upside down. Yeah.
By the way, that's a good analogy. I don't know if you said like an analogy,
You
but
have some
fit our explanation of flow here, right?
it's a great metaphor because, like, if we're talking about work, knowledge work flowing, that's a very great metaphor because, okay, I'm a developer, or I used to be a developer. At that time, things were just arriving to my backlog, and I didn't know from where that stuff arrived. And I just coded. I made some code that worked, at least for a short time, but it worked. And I used it to put it on production. And that's why your analogy is very great, because I don't know if there was or there wasn't horse pee on my flow, on my water, you know.
That's really true, because taking this point, when I was a designer, or I'm still a designer, but when I was practicing design inside a team, I received the demands sometimes before the developer, and when I saw it, it was like shit, but I didn't know how to change that. So that's cool how it integrates on what you're saying. So continuing.
Yeah, I can say that like a river, if you are like on the hills, if you're on the side that the water just begins to flow, I guess it's easier to change stuff. Like to you, it was easier to change stuff than it was for me, because when it arrived to me, another designer already made some changes that was on his hand, and to me, I can't change anything else. So I guess that we are talking here about changing the product while the river is flowing. And so the river here is our workflow, but I'm not talking about the workflow that is written on some business process model, on some Microsoft SharePoint. Yeah, that's
SharePoint,
it.
yeah.
And now I have a video talking bad stuff about SharePoint. That's it.
I'm gonna link down in the description, so
If you want to download, you should subscribe.
Yeah, if you just have a process on some Google Drive written on Word document or stuff like that, we're not talking about that. We are talking about real flow, like how the work flow in your company.
How the things happen in the real world of your work. So it represents your flow. It's what we are talking about.
Before getting on the backlog, there are some things that happens, and that's the flow, right? So that's the beginning of the flow. And when you are working on that, probably you are a part of the flow, but you're not at just the beginning. If you're a designer, you're before developers. but there's a lot of stuff happening even before it gets for you. Right?
And if someone is peeing on the water before you get peed water on the entire river, and your customer that is on the end of the flow will get peed water.
Yeah, shit in, shit out.
Yeah, unless you filter that.
Pee in, pee out.
Pee in, pee out. That's it, I guess. That's the point.
But another question is like we see in companies, so teams in terms of teams of design, teams of developers, team of analysts. But I'm doing my job. I'm doing what I'm developing. He's doing his job of design. But what is wrong about that?
That's it. I guess that's another problem that we can solve like easily. What do you?
Yeah, I think that could be an island. What you are in an island, and you are in an island. That's the problem. You don't see what happened here, and he don't see what you are doing now. And I think that is the one of problem that can be.
The island with the silos, right?
Exactly.
The famous silos that we keep hearing on this. Yeah. On keynotes. Cool.
Could be working a lot and don't delivering nothing things. Your customer is not happy, and all effort you're putting on that is a waste.
Yeah, and I guess if you talk about silos, I guess we can bring some complex system theory here and some system thinking here, and I guess it's Akov. Is a great thinker on systems thinking, and he used to say that on a complex systems, and we are knowledge workers, so we work on complex systems, the unit, the island, is not so important as the interaction between the islands.
Okay.
So stop caring about just your island and start caring about how your island interact with the other island on the system. Yeah. Right. So
an important thing is your product start with an assumption that is the top of the mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, Agile Code Heap is here, so we are going to talk about nature all the time. And we will embrace a tree at the end of this video, you know. All your product, no, serious, your product starts with an assumption.
Or should start, right? With an
assumption. Should start with an assumption. And it will pass through your flow and you deliver something. And if you are not really connected with what your customers want, you will deliver something that your customer don't like, or is not expected by your customer. Is not the problem. You will not solve the problem that the customer is waiting for something to solve. And you are wasting your time, you are wasting your money.
Oh my God, I remember a good example. It's a hard example, but it is good. There is a documentary on Netflix. There is something about a little boy that was killed by his family, like aggressions, and it's a hard stuff. But the main point is they started to investigate what happened until that point that the boy was dead, and there was some police department involved, and there was some government department that was responsible for social care and stuff like that, and social assistance and stuff like that. And when they started to interview people from there, they just said, "Oh my God, I made my part of the work, so it's not my fault." Yeah. But everyone said that. Like the police said, "I made my part of the work. It was not my fault." And the social assistant said, "I made my part of the work. It's not my fault." So every island was saying the same stuff, and they are right. Like the guilty part was not just one part of the island, but the entire system.
Exactly.
I delivered everything I committed on the sprint planning.
Yeah,
something like that.
My part is done. So
if I can come back in the metaphor of the island, I think like it's. All the island has a beach, and everyone is happy because I have a beach. I can go. It's okay. It's comfortable. So the question is, how
increase your audience.
How we change this perception that this is my island. this is my comfort zone.
Yeah, I like to stay here.
Yeah, because it's comfortable.
Just doing my job.
A great metaphor, because if you're in Brazil or in France that happens as well, but something that happens when you call customer service for like a mobile telephone operator, and they are saying, I cannot do that, or I'm doing my best, but you don't have your problem solved, right? You're getting stressed, and you discount all of your stress into the people you're talking to.
Yeah.
But actually, she's part of the problem, but she's not the problem.
Yeah.
Right? The problem is how it was planned, this whole interaction. So that's somehow what you're talking about.
Yeah, but on the other hand, like you have the power to change that. Like, of course, you can stay on your island and say, okay, the problem is on the system, but you are part of the system also. Mm-hmm. So I have an example of yesterday that happened to me. I was making a training on a hotel with you guys, by the way. It was not like a training, it was an unconference because we are hippies, so hippies make unconferences.
One more.
Unconferences. So
Let's continue again.
yeah, that's it. But anyway, we came back from lunch and we needed to enter the room that we were doing stuff like, right? And all the folks were just in front of the door, but we did not have the key to enter on that. So I went to the reception of the hotel and asked for a key. And I said, okay, I need a key to open the door because the folks are there just waiting. The people on the reception said to me that the department that took care about rooms were on the other floor. So I went to the other floor and tried to find the guys, and there was no one there. So I went back to the reception, to the first island, to say there is no one there. Can you give me a key? And they said, oh my God, we have a key here. And I said, yeah, that's it. But they said, I can see on the system that your name is not here as the responsible for the room. And there is just 2 other guys here, and it's not you, so I cannot give you the key. And I said, oh my God, these guys are not here right now, and the folks are waiting to enter the room. And he said, I can't give you the key right now. So we needed to wait like for
20 minutes.
10, 20 minutes until someone come and solve the problem. So my point here is you can be that person on the reception and you can solve that problem. Instead of sending someone to another island, you have the power, you can do the leadership act of giving the key or going there or trying to make the person...
Find the people that knows how to open
the call someone or...
You can do something, right?
Yeah, or get my ID, get my ID and give me the key, or get my ID and enter the door. You can do that. And the funny fact here is you can talk about security and say, okay, but she was or he was worried about security. But for two times on that day, on the same day, I asked some maintenance guys like that were passing to open the door to me, and they just opened the door to me. They solved my problem, like they did not ask me to go to another island and solve that problem. So if you're a developer, you can solve problems. If you're in UX, you can solve problems. It's on your hands.
The thing that is interesting here, just to make a connection, but we were talking about this physical operations and like services from hotels and stuff like that. How does that relate to digital work? Simply, if you are a designer, imagine that his need as a customer was not being fulfilled, and for this person on the behind the desk, it was a little bit difficult to solve the problem because she felt, okay, if I change the process that was designed upstairs, the cameras might see it and I may lose my job.
Yeah.
But that's not exactly how it happens on your work with your digital team, because usually the PO, the people who decides, whatever, if it's a PO, a product manager, or whatever who's deciding, is probably, or he should be sitting like on the next table. And when you realize that the water is like polluted, is not clean, you can do something about it. So that's what these examples are all about, right? You can do something, and
that's it.
Even if you are in Agile code, you can be the leader of your section.
Yeah.
So
most importantly, if you are the
Agile code, Scrum Master,
do something.
Please do something. Stop saying a lot of stop talking about a lot of buzzwords and things like that, context, and help people to understand that your customer needs something, and it needs to be the right thing at the right time. So how can you improve? How can you help? How can you support the teams to have better connections, to have more relation to deliver what your customer is waiting at the right time.
If you are Agile coach, don't be an island.
Don't be your island.
And don't create islands.
So
we have enough islands already, right?
With the metaphor, you are talking about like the hidden bridges between the islands.
Or at least go swimming. At the first time, just go swimming and try to reach the other island and solve it. After you do that once or twice, so you build a bridge, and that's it. The system is changed. So.
And who could be the sharks when you
shark? You're a great mother trucker.
I'm kind of excited with the metaphor we are using. I like
sharks. Who are the sharks? You tell me.
Politics, right? Sometimes it's not someone is the shark, but the system and the politics behind whatever happens on your organization is a shark, right? You're like afraid to move differently and ask somebody because.
I guess the fear by itself
is one shark.
Because on that reception, for example, on the hotel, I could feel the fear, so the person that was there said, if I talk to my supervisor, I can maybe do something for you. That phrase is just fear.
Maybe.
So there is not really a shark there, but there is the fear of having sharks there,
Nice. So I think that's the first concrete tip that we have here for enhancing our improving your flow of work.
So 30 minutes to the first tip, right?
How to screw up. Well, that's really cool because the first thing you should do and basically is talking to people, right? That's I'm here doing my work, everything is good. I can blame the product owner, I could blame the UX designer, I could blame the company, and the only thing that will change when I'm blaming is that I may start a war, or I may lose my job, or actually I may change the company without solving the problem, and fast forward 2 years on your career and you're facing the same problem again. So how we may change our attitude on the work environment, on the workplace, when we see the water that is pissed, instead of like turning the table and say, fuck you all, mother truckers, I'm going away of this freaking company. Let's try something different, right? Say, hey, Agile coach, I feel that this is a fucking problem. I don't know, every demand that I get is like this. I don't have time to do the testing. I don't have time to write code properly. I'm hurting the performance for the users on the other hand, because I don't have time to do it, because any demand I have comes already with the estimation, like this work you should do in 2 hours. So talk about, expose your feelings and say that's not working for me. It's difficult. And if you're a designer, you can do it with the product owner. So I think that's the first tip to enhance the flow of work that you are now becoming to be more aware of in your organization, right?
So the question you are talking about is, in the beginning, begin with the awareness, with you and the people around you, and then take an action of leadership.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's the first tip. Take an action of leadership, even if you're not the leader.
That's
right.
It.
And the fear of the shark. What would be a good tip to avoid? Because that is true that the sharks. One shark is the fear. Mental models on the leadership. You cannot poke around people because you might have problems after. How to overcome your fear with a concrete action that will bring a positive outcome that you'll be able to show as an example after. What would be the tip you guys have on that?
I have a great tip. Like, I guess the fear and the blame. You said you told us something about blame and stuff. They walk together, So I have a suggestion. If you need your money at the end of the month to live and you like if you don't have that money at the end of the month, you won't be able to pay all your bills, and I don't know, your entire world will crash. Of course, you'll have some fear on your day by day, because you fear missing your job, you fear missing your career, you feel missing what you have. So my tip here is, and of course I'm not talking to people who do not have options, like I'm not talking to manual workers or people that earn just a few money every day. Like I guess I'm talking to knowledge workers here that make a great money every month, like not a great money, but
enough money.
Enough to survive.
Enough money
to
save some money, to not be afraid of losing your job.
What would be your advice on that? Your personal take on that?
My advice on that is save enough money to take some risk. If you do not take risk, you won't have a return on that.
Nice. But I mean, this, and also something that might block you to be the one taking this leadership act. Like, I love so much the company, I don't want to be seen as the asshole that wants to change everything because things are going well. What should I do actually to poke and to solve this issue? What would be my act of leadership?
It should not be the asshole, right?
Yeah, how to not be the asshole? That's the thing.
I don't know, I'm an asshole.
The same. If you're watching and you know how to do it, please leave on the comments down below.
That's it. So, who is not an asshole here and can answer that? How not to be an asshole and at the same time poke people?
Yeah, politely poke, right? I think being polite is one of the things, right?
Polite, yeah. Be respectful, right? You're not like, it's not against the person, is like against the behaviors or the system or
using facts
to
maybe support your poking.
Cool.
So empathy maybe too.
It's a good.
Your truth is not the truth of everyone.
And if you are the UX designer, the empathy that you use and you apply to create interfaces to solve problems for users, again, is the problem on your organization. So how can you put aside your personal feelings like hate or anger and say, okay, how can I see this thing in a rational way? To say, okay, Agile coach, I need your help on that. Or product owner, every time you ask me something, it comes like this or like those. And it's not working because by the end, I'm delivering shit for the developers to code. So
I have a tip for that.
So go ahead.
I got it. Coffee break.
Coffee break.
What do I mean? You do not have to be formal and send an email to people and go with a request to people. You can just start like trying to reach people at the coffee area of your company or at the lunch and starting making some empathy movements with that person and start to know that person and connect on real life with that person, like not real life like on your weekend, but trying to see the person as a human being and not as just a part of the process. And after that you will be like you'll have more good approaches to solve that question of building bridges.
I have a keyword for that, is tactical empathy.
That's called empathy.
So you take a coffee, you just chat along. If it's in the afternoon, late on the afternoon, maybe you can leave it for the next day in the morning because people are more calm down in the morning, more calm in the morning. Okay, that's a great tip. Yeah. So what would be another stuff that we can do to improve our flow? What do you guys think?
There is one that is, I guess...
WIP limit.
Yeah! That's it. Okay, talk more about that.
Let's talk WIP limits.
You're the expert here, right?
So what is WIP?
WIP is work in progress, but what is work in progress?
I thought that was WIP.
Oh my God.
This also work, right?
Do only 3 whips on your team?
That's it.
It doesn't work.
It's done. Yeah, every work is for me, but you will be an asshole.
So WIP stands for work in process, right?
Right.
Oh, but you just said something different, right?
Ah, yeah.
You said work in progress, you said work in process.
The
Why?
original is in progress, but the closed version is in process.
Klaus Leopold, great guy version.
Link on the description for this guy's content. So
That's it, and subscribe it.
this channel and on mine as well.
It's better than mine, so
Work in progress is that stuff that is really flowing on the river. All the things that enter the river are work in progress. So that demon that someone just passed you, it is in progress.
Work not finished.
Work not finished. Yeah, that's it. But progress means flowing on the river, and what we can see on our day by day is that sometimes the work just not flow on the river. The work gets stuck on the river, but sometimes work's just stuck there, and so I guess that's why we are talking about changing from work in progress to work in process, because it is not in progress, but it is.
it's not flowing.
Yeah, but it's stuck on the process.
So the customer is waiting for that, but it's stuck at somewhere in airflow, and no one is carrying these items.
But it's about limiting it.
Exactly. What happens when we limit this working process?
Is because you have more concentration, you can do things better, and I think that is one thing that you can get if you limit your focus in your work day by day.
Even better than limiting WIP, right?
Yeah.
Limiting your focus. If you focus on 1,000 stuff at the same time, you won't do any of them very well and very fast.
Yeah, but I think that you probably have side effects if you limit your focus. What do you think about side effects?
I need to work. I cannot be waiting. My boss cannot wait this guy to finish the things. I need to code right now, right?
My boss will get mad because he will see that I'm not working. I'm like on Medium reading some articles and what's the
Slack everywhere. So I guess you cannot be afraid of being with some kind of slack on your day by day.
Your boss could be afraid
it
about
means that I can discuss with another guy. That's right.
That's the time that you can.
So you're talking about Slack time, not Slack the tool,
okay.
right?
No, Slack time. No.
Because the side effect of limiting the focus of the work is having more Slack time, right?
If you're afraid of getting some Slack time, maybe try to use that Slack time to do the fucking behavior that we are talking from the beginning of this video, that is getting up and go there, talk to the UX guy and to the dev guy and get the fuck up and go there and pair. Yeah.
So
get off of your island,
Exactly. So if you're a developer or if you are UX, more likely on this channel, and you take a coffee time. You took a coffee time, and you talk with your product owner or whoever sends the work demands for you, and you could limit the focus so you can work in one thing or X things in this week or 2 weeks or whatever. The time that you have extra, maybe you could go ahead and sit aside the developer or sit aside of the Agile coach or even the product owner, to learn what they're doing, to influence a little bit on what they're doing, and to see how your work, what you deliver, impacts on their routine, right?
Yeah.
Understand a little bit better the context you are inside of.
Yeah, understand the system, right?
Understand the system, how to influence that. So,
and a good outcome of that is that nobody will think that you're not working.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
No, I think that another point is where's the point that I need a limit focus. When we talk about flow, we have a lot of steps and a lot of handoffs. Where is the best point to start limit focus?
I don't know. I can talk by myself. I try to limit at least my focus, because that's something that's just about me. I can say no to stuff. I can say no, I can't do it right now because I'm doing other stuff. Just let it here, and at some time maybe I can do it. So I would start by at least thinking about my work, and if I'm doing 10, 12, I don't know, 20 things at the same time, and try to stop that, because I guess the first effect to me is if I just can work, for example, on 2 things at the same time, and that's impossible. I can just work on one. But let's say that I can work on 2 things for my boss. If you limit your working process to 2 items at the same time, once that you deliver the first one, you have to think a lot about what other items will you commit to, because you just have space for 2 items. So my first reflection on that is, are you looking to your WIP limit at least, like not to the whole system at first, but to your WIP limit on your life, you know, like are you dedicating yourself to just enough things to get all of them done in a great way, or are you getting everything at the same time and not delivering anything?
That's a really good point, because if you're doing that by yourself, you don't need approval for the others. Yeah. All you have to do is say no to things, but in a small period of time, delay of time, you'll be able to show the quality of your work that increased. So maybe yes, you will be delivering less outputs, right? But with more quality. So that's something you can show for people saying, oh, you reduced your productivity, you said yes, but now take a look, for each one of work that I deliver, we don't have more work being created to fix stuff. Yeah. So,
and if you are working on the right thing, it doesn't matter because you are doing the right thing. Yeah. So
you bring value.
Yeah. But do not commit to shit. No, commit to great options. That's the main point. Like, you have several options to commit to. If you commit to do shit, you just deliver a greater shit, and no one wants shit.
So the first one, start to create bridges. And if I forgot the first tip, but you can roll back on the video and you're gonna see that.
Yeah.
The second one, limit the focus or limit the working process. And if it's too hard to try to limit the working process for your whole team, do it for yourself.
Personally, yeah.
You're gonna see and you're gonna be able to show the benefits of that after. And the third one, do not commit to shit. So if you realize that the demand that is getting on your table is shit, try to change it, right?
Yeah. Or discard that.
You should have the power.
If you cannot discard that, at least create the awareness that it is a shit. So
By the way, do not be an asshole. Like,
do not be an asshole. Yeah.
Do not do that on a not polite way. Do not do just, I won't do that shit. No, that's not a good. That's not a good approach. Yeah.
You are going to see the whip.
I'm gonna show you the whip.
I'm gonna show you. Just
get a whip.
And they will use this video as an argument, you know, like that fucking guy
These
there.
guys are talking about this, and I'm going.
They are experts, and they said to me that I should say to you, "Fuck your work, it's shit."
because you are sharp.
You're sharp. And I'm not afraid of you. You're fucking sharp.
But just Lula is the expert, so
Not me.
Well, that's really a really great tip, right? Because don't be an asshole. I mean, nobody.
It's for everything of your life.
Not just about flow.
Not about flow.
Forget about flow and use these tips for your life.
All the other 3, you can dump it. We don't give a shit. Don't be a fucking asshole.
All of this we have.
So I think this is the part, and I think the most important one. Do not be a freaking asshole. Treat people with respect, because that's the thing. As we don't know what's happening on this river, so on this flow, we don't know if the shit that came to our table is the shit that he's creating because he just wants to and he doesn't care about shit, he just wants to give shit, or somebody is giving shit to the upper part of your flow, right? So being respectful with people will let you know if the one that is creating is shit and he knows it's shit and he just doesn't care. He doesn't know that it's shit and he thought it was something really cool. He knows that shit, but somebody's just passing it to them and he's afraid of losing the job, for example. So if you're not an asshole, you'll be able to figure out the categories of the shit that you are receiving.
Yeah.
And it will give you insights on how to fix it, right?
Yeah. How the shit is born, right?
Yeah.
How the shit is born.
Yeah, I think that for start at this point, you need to identify what's the shit and what criteria you use to this. And I think that for this point, you need to know your customer. And that's the important point when we discuss about flow. It's you know your customer. You know who are in the end of the.
Yeah.
Another thing that is very important and is to visualize this flow. It should be the first thing, but okay, it's time to remember that.
Yeah.
So to visualize, what is your flow? Where is the steps? The items are passing through on from the top of the mountains and to your customer that is waiting on the sea.
What tool can you use for that?
It's not two.
Yeah, two. How can you do that? Because it's not like water that you can touch, right?
Yeah.
It's not a real river. It's like
a map of the water.
Yeah, it's knowledge work, so it is invisible by default. So what can you use?
PostGIS 3M.
We love you, 3M. That's it.
Yeah.
Because this is a question that I was thinking about is like, for example, I'm working a team, but I'd like to talk with my boss and say, okay, this is interesting, what I'm talking about W.I.P, but how I can create arguments to talk with them? This is the question. What is the source of things that I can use as an argument to say, okay, boss, I'm delivering this feature, but I'm feeling that something is not good. So what could be the next step?
I guess.
But I think we already answered that, right? If you limit your own W.I.P,
Yeah, that's a good.
you can use some evidence of that to try to influence the whole team.
That's it. But I guess the point is you cannot like argue. You can just show stuff and make them conclude what's happening. So that's why visualization is so important. Because if things are just there and you can just ask for your boss, come here please, okay, tell me what you can see here, and that's it.
If you have something very simple like a board, a very simple one that is showing, that is radiating what is passing through that, just present it to your boss and he will get
And you're going to see, I see post-its everywhere.
Exactly.
Because boards don't solve problems. People do.
People do, exactly.
So put some people talking about what is passing through that.
And make it visible, because when he or she comes to ask you new things, you can show, but okay, I already have this and this and this, you're thinking on this and this and those extra, you know? So I think, visualizing the situation, I think
and I have a limit, right?
And I have a limit.
So which one do you want to drop to get this one?
Exactly.
That's the question. So visualize the work. Yeah.
And don't judge your boss, because he
or she.
Oh my God! Yes.
I was expecting.
He's also wanting to deliver something.
You are trying to get some points with your boss. I know that. Because you're your boss. No, I'm joking.
He's in the game with you, so try to
don't hate the player.
Right?
Don't hate the player. Try to change the game in our case.
Oh, that's a good phrase. But we already have two more tips here, right?
Two more tips.
So the first one is visualize your work, visualize what's happening. Try to not argue, but to show what's happening. If it's not enough, if your boss still say that it's just post-its, improve that and try once more. Improve that, try once more. Get feedback until the problem is shown there. Get this one tip, and the other one that you just said. A good phrase. What was that phrase?
Don't try to hate. Don't hate the player.
Okay.
Try to change the game.
Oh, I thought it was don't hate the player, hate the fucking game. No, try to change.
If you want to switch the game, you can go to LinkedIn and you can see the job positions that we have open. Go there. Come work with us, right?
It is funny for me that I remember something from the book. Switch. Yeah. So it's interesting that
book cover.
It is that you are talking about how to make things tangible for guys. So the an example in the book, like it's a company that's it's a retail that's that have a overstock from, for example, in gloves, but people are not doing something about it. They're not taking care about it. What they do, so they create like an emotional speech in terms like, okay, I'm going to bring all the types of gloves that we have in the company and put on a table. And then they invite the managers that bought these gloves to say, to touch the gloves and say, okay, and then the guy said, yeah, these are all the gloves that we have in the company. And the question is, we don't just need 2 types. So what do we do about it? Yeah. So this is interesting, is how to make the things tangible to people, they make them work.
To see, to touch.
To see.
Concrete.
I need to get it.
Yeah.
So that's I lost the track of the tips. We have, I think, 10 already, right?
It was like 6. No,
6, 7.
This was the 7th. Right?
It was the 7th. Okay, so make it tangible.
Make it tangible. Okay, it's something to do with visualize, but make it tangible is not just seeing, it's touching, right?
Yeah.
It's touching.
Yeah, concrete.
Yeah. Okay, 7 tips. Is that enough?
I think that's really good.
Yeah, but the most important one is
don't be an asshole.
don't be an asshole.
And it's for your life.
That's for your life. Right. And even if at some point of this video we were a bit assholes, but
So sorry.
but we're sorry about it.
Oh my God.
But it's actually between ourselves. So
Do what I say, do not do what I do. Oh my God, no.
Exactly. So that's pretty much it. This on your work environment, maybe you won't say the words that we are saying here, but we are like between friends in a Sunday
on the internet.
on the
oh
internet.
My God.
And you know, but on your company, if you take the 7 tips that we're giving you, I think you are really likely to get promoted. No,
that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true.
because you'll be the one trying to dance in a different rhythm, and in a delay of time, the others maybe will realize that, oh shit, this is really good. Let's dance the same song that he's dancing, and maybe you're not the boss of this team, and somebody may realize, and maybe even you may discover that you love to do that, and you just start to skip from team to team to change their rhythm. And you can become an expert like Lula.
I was almost saying, oh my God, you could be a coach, man. Inspiring.
Light and brightness, right?
Please subscribe.
That's it. Okay. Great, coach, great.
I think we have enough. Do you have any other tips to make? So we started with the water that represents the flow of work, and sometimes we see pee in the water and we are drinking it because we are taking it and committing to do some work on that. But it's shit, right? It's pee, but it's shit. And after we're delivering shit for our customers to use on the other hand, and they feel the taste and they don't like it. Oh. And you know how you can do to change that. Do you have any like final tip that we could do, or
Just drink water from bottles.
It's our final tip.
please after this?
Apagou.
hein?
Perfeito.
Conclusão.
Acabou o espaço.
Bom, foi perfeito.
A máquina falou, caralho.
Chega.